Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to talk about the Jeanne d'Arc variant civilization for the French. This is a civilization that is centered around this Khan-like unit where we have, as we know from the Dota and League of Legends, where we have abilities on heroes. It's a bit similar here. So imagine a Khan hero that has the ability to power up her bolts and also call in other units. Very, very cool. I'm going to talk about Jeanne d'Arc and then get into the rest of the French civilization. So stick around for that as well. So a few things have changed, but not much. I think Jeanne d'Arc being the focus point of French is a pretty cool concept. And what we find here is essentially a progression system. So you'll start off as a non-military unit. You have Jeanne d'Arc as a peasant. And Jeanne d'Arc will then work, gather, build, so on. She gets experience from gathering, from building. And then once you have leveled up, which you usually will when the feudal age hits, you will be able to pick two different progression paths. One is the hunter progression path and the other one is the woman at arms. We have the hunter path where she gets a bow. She fights a little bit like an archer, almost has the same stats, but then she gets access to some new abilities. We're going to talk about the abilities after we just take a look here. So you have Jeanne d'Arc, the hunter, then you get the ability to go and do a mounted archer or go into Jeanne d'Arc knight. You can also do markswoman where you get the hand cannon or the blast cannon with the heavy siege cavalry type Jeanne d'Arc. Of course, you can also choose woman at arms. When you start in the Dark Age, you have access to a couple of different abilities. One is Journey of the Hero, where you get experience points. Then you have Honorable Heart, which causes Jeanne d'Arc to regenerate based on each level. And then you also have at level 3 a 50% decrease in damage from ranged attacks, and at level 4 it's 66% reduction. Talented Builder is another passive ability that causes Jeanne d'Arc to construct buildings 33% faster, meaning she can actually construct the first landmark by herself. When she gets close to other villagers in the level 2 stage, she will also give the buff to them, granting them a 33% build rate. When she gets to level 2, where you pick the Hunter arc or the Woman at Arms arc, you will be able to get these abilities. Depending on if you pick the melee or the ranged, you will get either Divine Bow, which is an arrow that has an 8-second cooldown with 4 charges. These charges recharge per 60 seconds, and she will then fire an arrow that deals 40 damage. Very simple. It's a click ability, so you can just click on enemy units and then fire at them. You can also use this to harass villages, so on. If you go with the melee, you'll be able to do an AoE ability where you strike all enemies around 1.25 tiles with 50 damage. Same with the cooldown, recharge, and charges. You also have Divine Restoration, where she not only heals herself, but also units around her, meaning instant heal 30% of a unit's missing health. So if you have a lot of damaged knights you kept alive, you'll be able to go for this one and you can go straight into the fight again or use it during a fight. You have Consecrate, which is an ability you can use across the map. You don't have to get close to a building, where you'll then reduce the food cost of units by minus 25%. This is a 4 charge, no cooldown, with a recharge time of 120 seconds too. So she's very good once she gets to level 2, and you'll be able to get this really quickly. The next arc is the Mounted Archer and the Knight, where you'll be able to get Galvanize the Righteous. Companions close to Jeanne gain 1/1 armor and 10% damage increase. Really nice passive ability. You have Champion Companions and Rider Companions, so you can choose one of these two. The Champion Companions are essentially man-at-arms, a little bit stronger, and you can just spawn these in. You get 3 of them. And then you have Rider Companions, where you get 3 riders to her side. When you got to the Imperial Age, you'll be able to do Field Commander, where you get a Rally Call ability, and you get 7 of the chosen champions to the battlefield with the call. You also have Strength of Heaven, where you can choose a unit to bless, and then you give them some strength, some durability, so 300 health for melee and for ranged armor, and 300% extra damage. This is pretty strong as well. You can use this on many different units. The other abilities is the Gunpowder Monarch, And the Gunpowder Monarch is essentially a rally call ability as well. You get 3 chosen champions and you also get a cannon. So in Imperial Age, the cannon can be a really good idea to go for if you are starting to build up some siege and you just want to add a little bit extra value to that siege mass. You have Valorous Inspiration, where you can increase the attack speed of all units within 4 tiles by 50% for 20 seconds. 20 seconds is a long time. Most fights don't last longer than 20 seconds. So if you can use this, you can actually cause the opponent to retreat, giving you some free damage without taking yourself, and just in general have better DPS. So she has a lot of different things she can do, 2 different progression paths, but it's actually not that difficult again, because it's only 2 progression paths, and all of these abilities make sense once you start playing with them. All right, that's pretty much it for Jeanne D'arc. Very, very interesting unit, and I think she's actually a lot of fun to play with. She feels balanced, but we'll see. As for the rest of the variant civilizations bonuses, many of them are the same. You still get the melee blacksmith upgrades, you still have the trade economy, you have the galvanized economy, so eco upgrades are 30% cheaper. And here it also states that Jeanne D'arc make people work harder, which is this ability here, Construct the Kingdom. We talked about it before. The unique units are Jeanne D'arc, Jeanne's Rider, Jeanne's Champion, and you also have Royal Knights, Arbitré, you have Cannon, Galleass, and the Warhawk. So a lot of different units, some are the same, some are new. Most of the new ones are tied to Jeanne D'arc. From the town center, you're able to respawn Jeanne D'arc through this ability where you pay a gold tribute and she returns. So this is your way of reviving her. You have houses, mills, lumber camps, mining camps. All of these eco buildings have the same reduction in the costs of the upgrades, so they're not that expensive. Barracks is the same, dock is the same pretty much, and then you also have School of Cavalry. Everything is the same here. We do have a little bit of a change over at the Royal Institute, where we're able to get something called companion equipment. It increases the damage and health of Jeanne's companions by 20%. So those riders we talked about, those man-at-arms we talked about, it's the same here. They get the increased damage and health. So this is a cheap upgrade. You should go for this immediately when you can. Get the companion equipment so you get those stronger units out. It's only 125 gold and 50 wood. So go for this one immediately. You can also get this one from keeps, and you are also able to produce her special units in the keeps. So a bit like in Age of Empires 2, where you have special units inside the keeps, you are also able to get the Jeanne's special units inside of the keeps here. This is also for the Red Palace. So you get Jeanne's Riders, 180 food, 20 gold, and Jeanne's Champions, 160 food and 40 gold. You of course also have that special upgrade we spoke about, so you don't need to get the Royal Institute to get access to it. You also have another upgrade here, which is the Ordnance Company. And the Ordnance Company looks like another upgrade, but this one actually makes it so that your consecrated buildings also reduce the wood and gold cost by 25%. Again, an upgrade you should get almost immediately. You need this one as fast as possible. But the thing is, we're not able to build our archery ranges, our stables around our keeps, so we don't get that reduction that we would get normally when we play the French main civ. So there are some changes to these upgrades. It can be a good idea to go and take a look at these yourself. I want to talk a little bit about Jeanne D'arc and how you use her in the early game, because this is quite relevant no matter what build order you have. So you have to get a certain amount of experience, as you can see over here in the left side. And this experience will amount to her level up. So you have a level up that looks a little bit like a screen for the landmarks, but here it's the Path of the Warrior or Archer, like I explained before. It costs 500 experience points. You get experience point, as you can see here, from building houses, mining camps, other buildings as well, landmarks, and from gathering. So 2 different values there. We are able to, when we gather with her, get some experience, and then we can go and age up. And then once we've aged up, we pretty much have enough experience points to get her to choose a path, which is really important. You want to get a path chosen immediately upon age up, so you can go and get other types of experience points. She'll remain a peasant until you get enough experience points. So if you still need some upon age up, go mine some more or get her to build some buildings. So here I'm building the landmark, School of Cavalry, like I would with the French civilization, but I'm actually only using Jeanne D'arc. She gets the extra build speed and she gets a lot of experience from doing this as well, which means that once she's up here, you can see the experience bar over here, she's actually able to go to level 2. And then I pick the path of the archer here, and then I can go and start collecting boars. You want to go kill the boars immediately because they grant you a lot of experience. As for the abilities, you can see down here, it's like a MOBA where you have at Q, W, and E. You have access to the Divine Arrow, you have access to Divine Restoration, Consecrate. These abilities expand later on once you level her up more. So go ahead, take out a boar here. You can do this without losing her, of course. She also has the regeneration afterwards. So she's pretty strong in this sense. She has 200 HP and 5 ranged damage. If you have 2 boars close to each other or just available, I recommend killing these immediately upon getting to feudal age, because as you can see here, we already have a lot of experience. So regen a little bit and then go ahead and kill the other one as well. As for playing with the French civilization, it's pretty much the same here with just Jeanne D'arc civilization. So what you'll find is, if you have the APM for it, you can go ahead and raid as well. You don't need a lot of APM to take out these wolves and these boars, but generally speaking, you still need to micro the knights and so on. Try to get some villager kills. Played aggressively. Jeanne D'arc has to be played aggressively. If you don't, what you'll find is you're not getting experience and you're not utilizing your civilization to its full potential. You can still play 2TC, but it still has to be aggressive so you get that experience gain. It can be a really good idea to use the Divine Arrow here, because it'll get you to be able to shoot immediately upon the villagers. So the range is quite far here. So that's the Divine Arrow right there. It's green. And then you can go ahead, snipe that villager, get 5 experience points. So have her close by in fights. You're not going to get any experience points if she's not close. And so you need to have her in your composition. She can't just sit in the back of the base. This is really important. Play aggressive and preferably on 1TC. Try to get as much experience as possible and then level her up. I hope you've enjoyed this walkthrough of the Jeanne D'arc variant civilization. It's really interesting to see how it's going to play out with the meta. I think she will be always centered around aggression to get her experience points up. And I'm sure we'll also see different styles and approaches for her as the meta develops. As with all the other variant civilizations, we are going to have to wait and see what happens. But generally speaking, it seems she has to be played aggressively. That's it for me. Hope you enjoyed the new civilizations. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.